Good evening, everyone. So my name is Macharia. I'm a cloud engineer, also a Microsoft Talent Student Ambassador. So this session is brought to you with the support of the MLSA program. And my session will be focusing on how to move from chaos to reality or from chaos to clarity for organizations, and basically how organizations can improve their team collaboration. So my focus will be on the Azure DevOps platform, going through the Azure boards, Azure repos, Azure artifacts, etc. etc. So once again, welcome to this side of heaven. I'm so excited, and thank you to the Azure Back to School team for making this possible also. So going right to the meat of the matter, from chaos to clarity. So basically, this title emphasizes the transition from the traditional fragmented approaches in software development to a more unified, effective way of working through DevOps. So this now transformation is not only about technical improvements, but also about cultural change, where teams move from inefficiency and miscommunication towards the clarity and collaboration between or among teams. So DevOps, as introduced here, represents more than just tools. So DevOps, it's a philosophy and a practice designed to eliminate silos and streamline workflows. So setting the stage with this framing allows the audience to connect the technical processes with the real human challenges they face in their own teams. So moving on, as you can see from this visual on my slide, you get to realize that many software teams still struggle with the throw it over the wall mentality, where developers write code and pass it to operations without shared ownership. So this creates friction because developers are incentivized to move fast while operations prioritizes stability. So this lack of communication fuels what is referred to as number one, being delays, number two, being outages, and also misunderstandings. So this blame culture makes problems worse as teams focus on who caused the issue rather than on how to fix it. So highlighting this crisis is critical to showing why DevOps is not just a luxury, but a necessity for modern development. So it's about shifting from confrontation to the collaboration that organizations want between their teams to get the best out of the product that they are working on. So what is DevOps? Many companies and also teams have different uh, explanations of what DevOps is. So DevOps is often misunderstood as simply adapting automation tools or giving people a new job title. So in reality, it's a cultural movement that aims to create that shared responsibility across the entire software lifecycle. So this means everyone from developers to testers to operations play a very vital role in ensuring reliable delivery. So by breaking down silos and improving feedback loops, DevOps encourages a faster iteration and higher quality software. So it's not only about automation, it's about redefining how teams think about ownership, accountability, and also collaboration. So let's now focus on the transformation journey in DevOps. So you see, technically, every organization has its own DevOps journey, which starts differently, but the progression often follows a similar path. So beginning with the siloed teams and manual processes, moving towards shared tools and also automation, and finally achieving a mature culture of collaboration. So essentially that usually takes time, but this slide now focuses on how to demonstrate that transformation, which is gradual and which requires that incremental progress. So the maturity stage reflects true DevOps adoption, where culture, tools, and feedback loops align to create that continuous improvement. So by framing DevOps as a journey rather than a destination, teams can avoid being overwhelmed and instead focus on practical step-by-step improvements. So let's now focus on how silos are broken down with the shared workflows. You see, one of the biggest challenges before DevOps is tool fragmentation, where developers and operations use different platforms, which led to friction at every handoff. So manual documentation, which essentially led to heavy processes, slow progress, and the works on my machine syndrome creates production bottlenecks. So you see DevOps introduces shared workflows, version control, and infrastructure as code, which is often referred to as IAC, which ensures that both code and environments remain consistent. So with shared monitoring and unified pipelines, bottlenecks are reduced significantly and teams gain trust in each other's work. So one of the common tools or yes, resources that is available in Microsoft for infrastructure as code is Azure Terraform. The other one being a Bicep, and also you can make use of the Azure Resource Manager (ARMs), whereby you get to use templates to spin your environment very fast. So actually, last week I did a presentation on Azure Terraform during PyCon Uganda last week, but one. So in case you have a question about Azure Terraform, always feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. My name is Macharia there also. So yes, moving on. It's about automation, the foundation of collaboration in DevOps. So basically, CI simply means continuous integration. CD means continuous delivery. And also IAC means infrastructure as code. And you see, automation lies at the heart of DevOps because it reduces human error and creates a common language across teams. So continuous integration ensures that every code change is tested and validated quickly. So while continuous delivery, which is the CD, provides that reliable, repeatable deployment processes. So infrastructure as code goes a step further by making infrastructure reproducible, and also it makes it version controlled. So this shift transforms infrastructure management from a manual process into a collaborative codified practice that aligns developers and operations, which is obviously the goal of every organization. So let's take a look at real-time feedback, which is the accelerator of collaboration for organizations. One of the core DevOps principle is shortening feedback loops. And also shared monitoring ensures that every team member has visibility into application health, turning performance into a collective responsibility rather than a hidden operation burden. So blameless postmortems and public dashboards foster transparency and also accountability. So instead of hiding failures, teams use them as learning opportunities. So this shift accelerates collaboration, ensuring that mistakes improve processes rather than damage a trust. So I thought of also adding a case study from chaos to clarity and how DevOps essentially happens from before the implementation to after now the transformation. And before DevOps, the organization highlighted faced slow delivery cycles, high failure rates, and long resolution times for critical issues. You see, misaligned communication methods, such as relying solely on tickets, created silos and further delayed collaboration. Then there's this bit about now transformation after DevOps. So after implementing DevOps practices, the same organization achieved remarkable improvements. So faster release cycles, fewer environmental related issues, and significantly shorter incident resolution times. This case study illustrates the measurable benefits of cultural and technical transformation. So let's take a look at the practical steps to improve team collaboration. So one of them being starting with the culture and how to implement tools, how to improve feedback, and how to measure our progress. You see, transformation starts with culture. And without trust and shared ownership, tools alone will not fix collaboration issues. So by holding joint standards, creating cross-functional teams, and sharing on core responsibilities, teams begin building the foundation of DevOps collaboration. So from there, implementing CI/CD infrastructure as code and monitoring practices ensures consistency and reliability. So finally, establishing metrics like DORA, uh, blameless postmortems creates continuous learning cycles. So importantly, this journey should begin small with incremental steps that demonstrate quick wins. And finally, what are the key takeaways from the session before we dive into the short demo? So the essence of DevOps lies in its cultural impact. Tools may be able to change, but people drive it. So when workflows are shared, automation is embraced and transparency is prioritized. So collaboration is naturally improved. So DevOps highlights that collaboration is not an abstract goal. So it's the result of building trust, shortening feedback loops, and creating systems that encourage continuous improvement. So these key takeaways bring the presentation full cycle, showing how DevOps takes teams from chaos to clarity. So I just wanted to highlight what I'm going to focus on as I share my screen in the Azure DevOps portal. So first thing that I'm going to look on is the Azure DevOps, the Azure boards, where we're going to take a look on how teams can be able to visualize work and also ownership. So I'm going to show how developers and also program managers can track progress, can also make custom tags and also priorities and assignments to their projects. Also going to share about how to make use of Azure repos and see how shared code and transparent changes can be seen, and how to open a pull request with inline comments, and also get to see commit history. So one thing about the Azure repos is that teams can also get to see a branching strategy. So moving from feature to dev to main, then there's also code reviews and also approvals. Then the third thing that I'm going to focus on is the Azure pipelines to get to see how to automate and get to see feedback loops. So this one is going to focus on the build and test stages. So the deployment to staging or production. Then there's also Azure Artifacts. Azure Artifacts is also another very important tool for teams to get to see how to manage dependencies. So it's basically a form of version controlling for shared libraries. Then lastly, teams can also be able to see views on analytics for data-driven collaboration. So let me now share my screen. Stop sharing, then switch to another tab. It's raining a little bit where I am right now. So apologies for the background noise that you might hear. So I want to make sure that my portal is working fine. I really hope that the demo gods will be on my side today. Let me just share my window so that you can also follow along. Share window. Yes. Share this window. So I'm waiting to be signed in. Azure DevOps. Sign out and log in with a different account. So I'm going also to make sure that I drop the link to the Azure DevOps portal for you guys also to try it out. So let me go to the chat. Then I drop the link there. So it's dev.azure.com, then login. And let's see. I need to log in using my student ambassador's account. Then enter the password, okay. Then I need to stay signed in for security purposes. In case this doesn't work out, probably I'll have to organize another session to focus now on the practical aspect of it, because I'm having trouble or issues signing in. You're not authorized to view this page. Signing out in progress. So I guess I'll have to focus now on dealing with this issue. So that's it, guys. Thank you for your time, and see you soon with another video on how to get in hand with the Azure DevOps portal. Unfortunately, on my end, I was unable to have access to my Azure DevOps portal. But yes, I'll definitely drop also an article on how to interact with it. And thank you for your time also to the Azure DevOps, the Azure Back to School team, for giving me this opportunity to share with you on how teams can leverage Azure DevOps to eliminate friction that happens between the DevOps and the operations team. Thank you, everyone.